lately I've definitely been off my game, and that's my bad. You know what I mean, guys? So I do want to apologize for that. I'm sorry. But, this week has been some hell for me, it feels like. And recently I got into a little spat, a little debacle with my grandma, and it's definitely opened my eyes to how, like, much shit the older generation gives younger generations, specifically Gen Z. And today I want to talk about it. And if that interests you, keep tuned for this black perspective, cause I got a good one for y'all today. So I don't think it's a secret that everyone likes to blame Gen Z for like everything. You know, motherfuckers are like,
oh, 9/11 it's because of Gen Z. 9/11 happened because of Gen Z.
or it's like fucking,
All these Gen Z folks are so disrespectful. Like they don't know how to talk to their elders and blank blank blank.
you know, it's like it's our fault that we can't own anything, we can't have anything, our wages are stagnant, and on top of that, Obama lost his third term because of us. You know what I mean? But if you can't tell, I am a little tilted. But to actually get on with it and stop with the jokes. So very recently, me and my lady been going through some things. Me and Elizabeth been going through some things, and that's not really what this video is about. But I did something that I shouldn't have done, and it was ask my grandma for advice. Right? No shot, no offense to her, but like, yeah, I definitely shouldn't have did this shit because of what ensued afterwards, and I will never do it again. Like, I've already lived with my grandma for a little bit, and I got some shades of her personality and how it clashed with mine. And, I thought it was on some weird shit, which is one of the reasons why I left so early when I was, like, staying with her for a while. But now I'm on my own, so I'm on some of my adult shit, but I don't want to get off topic, so let's just get to what happened. So long and short, I asked my grandma for some advice about how to deal with some things in my relationship, or at least some perspective, right? Not how to deal with them, but just some perspective, I guess. And, she told me all these things. Some of them I agree with, some of them I disagreed with, some of them I really disagreed with, right? And then one of my cousins, I'm not going to use her real name, but we'll call her Veronica, right? Older cousin, apparently. I'd never really known her or seen her, but she's been hanging with my grandma recently type shit. And, she's like maybe 20 years apart from my grandma or so. So, yeah. Real like old school-esque mentality type shit. So, I asked her, and, she was very blunt with it too, right? Which, cool, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, whatever. But eventually, their advice kind of felt more like demands, or at the very least, some crazy expectations, and I wasn't fucking with it. And it just came off as super weird to me, and I stood my ground, right? I talked my shit. I did not, I didn't want to I didn't want to take it lying down. You know what I meant? I felt like some boundaries were being crossed, type shit. And then that came with me being labeled as disrespectful, right? And if you couldn't tell by my sarcastic tone, yeah, I'm a little tilted because, and that's what made me want to make today's video, right? Why is it that any time the younger generation, specifically Gen Z, or, Gen Alpha, they'll have to go through this shit too, I'm sure, but but when specifically Gen Z goes through like anything, right? Like anything in life, it's always our fault. But more specifically, why is it that we can never speak up for ourselves without it being labeled as disrespectful? And to me, right, I feel like that says more about the older generations than it does the younger ones. Because say what you want, right? Like these kids, well, I can't even say kids, honestly, but like, these Zoomers, because I'm a Zoomer too, they're not going to let you punk them. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to pussy a Zoomer. Like, for some reason, people have this ideology that Zoomers are all like
super, like, deep blue liberal cucks
or something, and like we all need to be coddled and held across the street or something. to me that just shows a blatant lack of like human empathy and like emotion from older generations that had the whole fucking
Oh, back in my day, we ate fucking nails with no milk.
you know what I mean? Like very toxic generational trauma type shit going on with like the older folks. But like yeah, bro. Like I started talking my shit back, you know what I mean? And I got labeled as disrespectful. And I'm like, bro, so am I supposed to just sit here and take what you say on the chin? Like I don't understand it. Like and it won't make much sense until I go into it. So one of the points that my grandma made was that I don't call her often enough, right? For context, me and my grandma talk like once a week, right? Like no shit. I talk to my grandma more than I talk to my own mother, bro. And I mean that shit. Like I have the call logs to prove it. Like we talk once a week. We talk for like 30 minutes to like an hour or two, you know? Like if we're really just, having fun and just vibing type shit. And I thought that was more than enough, right? Very recently, like I don't know if I did mention it, but she out at the hospital. She's cool. She's alright. But like ever since then, like I swear she's been on some weird shit, bro. So I don't know if this was resentment that was been building up for a while, or maybe I don't know, bro. I don't know, right? To me, it came off as all of a sudden, which is why it came off so weird. So she's like, oh, you don't call me, you don't talk to me, you never want to check on me or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, Grandma, we literally talk once a week. She's like, no, we don't. And I'm like, yeah, we do. Like, maybe I've missed a day or two here or there, but, like, we talk once a week. And personally, I don't even feel like I need to justify myself, because I'm like, first off, no Alabama when I say this. Like, you're not my baby mom, bruh. Like, we're not cracking. Like, why are you so concerned? And I'm not saying, right, I'm not saying that you have to be cracking someone to care about them, but I'm just like, girl, you all up on my phone, like, I'm ducking your calls or something, and, like, you trying to get me for child support. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's some weird shit. And, like, our whole dynamic was fine, like, a week ago, and now all of a sudden it's not. So, I kind of blew up at her a little bit, because she, like, on last Wednesday, right, she was basically saying, like, all this crazy shit, like, when I asked her for advice, and she's like, oh, that girl too old for you, and I think it's time for you to go, and this, and this, right? And, like, I won't lie, bro, some of the things Shorty was saying, like, I'm just sitting here, like, that's my girlfriend, right? Like, that's the woman I share a bed with. Like, you gonna have to chill out on some of that, because, like, I'm all for freedom of opinion, I'm all for freedom of expression, freedom of speech, I actually fuck with it. But, like, come on, bro. Like, you can't just be saying all this wild shit about the woman that I'm literally sleeping next to every night. At least that's how I took it, right? So, on Thursday, she called me while I was at the job, right? And normally I don't pick up, but I'm like, given recent events, I was like, let me see, maybe she needs something. And I was like, hey, Grandma, what's up? We talked for like 30 seconds or whatever. Not even like 2 minutes in, she's like,
oh, I see you still ain't called me back yet.
And like, y'all, tell me if I'm bugging or not. Is this not like weirdo behavior, bruh? Like my own grandma over here bugging about me not calling her back. And I'm like, girl, like, we literally just talked yesterday and a few days before that. Like, what the fuck? So so basically I started defending myself and shit. I'm like, oh, like I got my own life to worry about. Like I work all this, like I'm just literally like, hey, like I work 40 hours a week. I got my own life to worry about. Like I can't talk to you all the time. And basically that upset her. And she's like, fine, well, whatever. Just don't call me no more then, whatever. And I'm like, no, you're taking this like the way you want to take it, Like you're not listening to me, right? And I'm like, and then you're over here talking all this, like, demonizing my girlfriend. And she's like, demonizing? Which, to be fair, was a strong word. But, like, the shit they were saying, bro, all I'm saying is, I would argue it was disrespectful, if we're keeping it 100. But I digress. But basically, after that, she hung up on me. So so remember the cousin Veronica I mentioned earlier, right? So I text her to try to, I guess, get some like my words in. I kind of want to say reason with, because like I knew they were gonna talk about it regardless, because they've been like very close recently or whatever the fuck. I don't know. But basically, I said my piece, and like she texts me like an entire novella back to my novella that I text, and basically, long short, she's like, "Your grandma just wants people to talk to her after she came out the hospital, but you don't got enough time to do it, huh?" And I'm like, "Girl, I can't control nobody else, but for me, I'm like, we literally just talked like the yesterday and the day, like a day or two before." Like I literally remember calling, or like her calling me like the day she got out the hospital or whatever, and I'm like, "Yo, grandma, you good?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." So that's why I'm like, I'm calling bullshit on that. Then she's like, "Oh, you and your generation, that's the problem with y'all. Y'all so disrespectful and selfish. It's always about me, 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 me." Which, two things, right? First off, this is coming from the woman who literally just told me like 2 or 3 days ago to be more selfish. But I guess that only applies when it's against, other people in your life. In this case, my girlfriend, right? Like other Zoomers or whatever. But when it comes to being selfish against older folks, I guess that doesn't fly. Because now I'm just a selfish asshole. And she's like, "Oh, well, when your grandma was giving you money when you asked for money, you didn't have to, you had time then." And that's what really pissed me off, because I said, okay, first of all, I don't ask my grandma for money, at least these days, right? Because everybody's got their situation, right? We're all going through shit, and I know my grandma's got a limited income. She don't work, and I'm not about to just keep begging grandmas for money, so I don't bother asking. Now, if she offers it, sure, I'll take it if she offered it. Not no more after all this shit. But like, if she offered it, I would take it. And yeah, she's definitely helped me in the past. I never said she didn't. You'll see what I mean by that later. But yeah, basically, so I'm going back and forth with her to an extent, and I'm like, I'm not about to be arguing with this bitch. No disrespect, right? I'm like, I'm not about to be arguing back and forth with this girl. Like, I don't even know you. I don't know what you look like. Like, y'all are bugging. And yeah, so tell me why. I basically was like, listen, I'm gonna just call her on Saturday because I got some plans today, and we'll just talk it out then. And she's like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good, whatever." I mean, it wasn't like that, but anyway, so me and my grandma hashed it out yesterday, because it's Sunday when I'm recording this. We hashed it out. We talk our talk. I could tell she was talking to me like HR, so I knew she was pissed about something. So I'm like, let's just rip off the Band-Aid. You know what I mean? And we talked our shit. I'm not gonna recap the entire conversation like in detail. Excuse me, but long short, basically, bro, like some of the things that she said were just so weird to me. Like, and granted, remember, this is my grandma. She's 66. She old head. So, let that surface some of the context, I guess, or back up some of the context. Excuse me. So there's a few things that caught my eye that she said. One of the things that she said that really tilted me was like,
"You don't even know what love is."
Right? And to me, this pissed me off so much because it's so invalidating. It's so invalidating. It just like makes it seem like I just don't know what I'm doing in life. And like I've heard her use this phrase against my cousins, like my younger cousins that are actually in my age range, right? Like my cousins as well. And I didn't really agree with it then, because I'm like, it's kind of unfair to just sit here and say, "Oh, you don't know what love is." Like, this isn't like we're in middle school, sharing a kiss or two after class. Like, this is like adult life. Like, we are literally sharing a bed and a house together. You know what I mean? Like, we are literally like, like in it. Like, this is beyond just cracking. Like, this is literally like we have names on our bills that we share. You know what I mean? And like to me, I was just pissed because I'm like, okay, grandma, well, what constitutes as loving someone? Like, since you seem to be the expert, despite the fact that your ass ain't even married, you single, living with your goddamn son in his apartment, right? Cause I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm tilted, bruh. I'm like, oh, I don't know what love is. Meanwhile, you are married with no nigga. You know what I mean? I didn't say that, but I'm just like, you obviously don't seem to know what love is either. But basically, she's like, the only real key word I could get was like 5 years. So for future reference, guys, don't bother saying that you love her or him until you hit at least 5 years with them. Apparently, according to these boomer asses, you gotta be with them for at least 5 years apparently. But yeah, that shit tilted me because I'm like, me and this girl, like and then like, and this will add to what I'm saying right now. And one of the other things she mentioned, she was like, y'all will choose an entire stranger over your own family, which to me set off multiple things. But before I get to the second thing, the first thing, I'm like, first off, this girl is not a stranger to me, okay? This is my girlfriend. Like, I've known her for about 4 years. We've been dating for 2, going on 3. Like, this woman ain't no damn stranger to me. And that's what I'm talking about with the whole, like, how this relates to the thing I just said. Like, I've known this girl for years. I've been with this girl for a few years. Like, we've gone through ups and downs, highs and lows, good times, bad times, all that. And for you to just sit here and try to label, or at least to me, generalize like us in that way. Actually, I kind of used that wrong. Excuse me. My bad. I don't want to use words incorrectly. Essentially, for you to be like, this girl's a stranger in comparison was weird. Because for one, no, she ain't. I've known her for years, and for two, I'm like, girl, why are you comparing yourself in that way? Like, that came off as very like boy mom to me. Like, oh, you gonna put this random girl over me? And it's like, um, no, I'm not putting a random girl over you. I'm not putting a girl over you at all. This is my girlfriend. You're my grandma. There is a difference. you know, um, I think that you have like some really weird boy mom esque tendencies going on. Is all I can say, right? Like, there's supposed to be a level of space in between our like relationship. It's like, I'm not your boy toy. I'm not your plaything. I'm not your nigga. I'm not your baby daddy. I'm your grandson. Your grandson. All right. Like, this whole shit with you being like you're putting her over me is just weird. Like, it really rubbed me the wrong way, and that showed me that I think I'm spending a little too much time talking to this woman. Cause like, I almost said this girl, but but like, this said me. Excuse me. Like, I'm spending too much time talking to this woman. Cause like, what the fuck? Like, ew. You know. And it's like, yeah, when someone's in a relationship, they're gonna be spending a lot of time with them, and probably making them a pretty big priority in life. Like, I don't know, man. Like, these older folks are so fucking weird. I don't understand them. I really don't. And like, listening to all this, like replaying everything in my head, it just aggravates me so much because the older generation loves to give us so much shit for literally everything, and God forbid you defend yourself or say anything, bro. But that's just is what it is, right? So Gen Alpha, I'm just warning you. And you guys are gonna be the punching bag right after us. Probably by some of our own Zoomers, if we're being completely honest, too. So if you're Gen Alpha and you're listening to this, just be ready, bro. I'm just warning you now. But yeah, right. I'm kind of going off on a tangent in some ways. I'm trying to string together my commentary and make sure I'm not just like reeling, but like it just, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, if there's anything that this entire debacle has taught me, it's a few things. Number one, all right, you got to establish boundaries. Like, when someone is crossing the line or multiple lines, you got to make sure you say that and be like, yo, like, you can't be like, nah, like, that's not cool. Like, you got to speak up for yourself. Don't let people disrespect you in life type shit. No matter whomst it is, right? I don't care who it is. Don't let them disrespect you. I promise you, it ain't worth it. Don't let them step over you. Don't try to keep the peace. Nah, fuck that. You can speak your piece without being disrespectful. Like, you can talk as calmly and evenly as you can with no expletives and all that. Just take up for yourself, man. You gotta stand up for yourself. Another thing this has taught me is that the older generation loves to sit here and say that they turned out fine, and they very clearly didn't. Like, one of the things my grandma was talking about in the conversation was like, oh, you younger kids are like this because y'all don't get disciplined. Like, back in my day, if we try shit like this, I get my ass beat by my mom and my dad and some, like, the neighbor's father, like our neighbor's father, our neighbor's mama, and all that. Like, they set us straight. And I'm like, ew? Like, hashtag, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube because you know how YouTube be, but I'm like, to me that sounds like hashtag mistreating children. I can't say the A word, you know what I mean? But I'm like, I told her, I'm like, Grandma, I don't know about you, but to me, I don't think I would want anyone putting their hands on my child. And last of all, right, and I know even like some of my own friends catch me on this and they're like, oh, you gonna be a pussy as a parent. But I'm like, I personally feel like when it comes to beating your kids, there's not really much value in it. Like, sure, like, there may be an instance or two where you could argue it's useful. But most of the time, I'm like, could there not be some sort of constructive criticism or overall lesson you could teach them? A more fitting punishment than trying to beat them into submission on some massa shit? Like, to me, I deadass think it's just generational trauma. You know what I mean? From, like, the slaves coming on down, of, like, trying to beat people into like, beat children or beat disobedience into submission. Like, it's really weird. I was just sitting there like, ew, Grandma, that's fucking gross. Like, that was actually disgusting. And the fact that older people look back on that and they laugh about it, I'm like, I don't know, bruh. You don't sound that fine to me. Like, y'all over here getting too attached to your goddamn grandchildren and over here talking about how it was better when, like, kids were getting disciplined by random adults. Like, whatever, bro. Like, y'all boomers, y'all got it. Like, y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it. Like, if I'm a pussy because I don't want to just beat my child into submission when they say something or do something I don't like, or I don't understand how to actually have a conversation with them and a fitting punishment for them for whatever they've done, like, then whatever, I guess I'm a pussy. Because, like, what happens when them beatings don't work? Like, do you know how many times I've heard kids or, like, teenagers, like, dudes my age, girls my age be like, oh, yeah, bro, at a certain point, it just, like, I just don't even faze me. And then people are like, well, by that point, like, I've literally heard people say this. They're like, well, by that point, they're just unredeemable. Like, I don't know. Like, they're just unteachable. And I'm like, that is some of the saddest, most disgusting shit I've ever heard. The idea that if beating your child into submission just doesn't work, then apparently, like, there's just nothing you can do. Like, that's it. There's nothing else to do about it. If beating them into submission didn't work, if spanking them with the belt didn't work, then I guess there's just nothing you can do. So, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how to parent, right? I don't exactly have kids, but, I don't know. Some of y'all are on some weirdo shit with that. But moving on, because we are getting kind of long in this video, I just the last lesson that I really wanted to illustrate was that I really beg you guys, when it comes to relationship matters, please keep that shit private. All right, if you're gonna tell anybody, tell a therapist, right? But if you can't afford one, most likely because you live in America, if you're watching this, you probably fucking can't, right? If you can't afford a therapist, right, do yourself a favor and, like, I don't know, bro. You better ask like a distant friend on Discord or something for some like objective advice or something. Like, don't go to your grandparents. Like, you can ask your niggas, right? You gotta be careful. Like, if you asking your homeboys or your homegirls, though, you gotta be careful. You gotta pick and choose who gets that information, I guess. But like, do not go to your family, bro. Because I swear, they hear one bad thing or two about the person you're with, and now all of a sudden, all the positive things that they were feeling about them just seem to go out the window. And yet, when you confront them about that, they're like, "Oh no, that's not how it was at all." So it's like, okay, whatever. But that's about it. I've been screaming into this mic for about 25 minutes now, and I think I got my point across. I got my video across, and yeah, I don't really have much else to say, so I don't want to just drag this out longer than it needs to be dragged out. Sorry for the no video upload this week, y'all. That was my fault, type shit. This will probably upload by Monday, most likely, unless me and the boys do end up actually playing the games today, and I'll just record like some Siege or some shit and slap it on this voiceover, and then I'll probably it'll be Monday most likely, but maybe today. But with that being said, if anyone else has got some experience with like being deemed disrespectful by older folks, I'd love to hear about it in the comments, because like it's almost comedic and kind of sad to a sense. Like, they say us younger folks are so soft until like we talk back to these motherfuckers, and then all of a sudden we're just so disrespectful and we don't know what to say. And back in my day, we get smacked in the mouth for doing this. It's like, yeah, for actually debating a point, standing up for yourself, or proving an adult wrong, you would get disciplined for it. That sounds like a very, very great system to raise a child. So yeah, that's about it. So with that being said, I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. If you like the video, you already know what to do, bruh. Like, subscribe, share it, comment, do what you gotta do. And I would love, like I said, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. But from here on out, me and my grandma are definitely gonna have a different dynamic. We're chill. We patched up our wounds or whatever. We settled the beef. But yeah, our talks are definitely gonna be a bit different. But with all that said, I want you guys to remember one thing and one thing only: be disrespectful. I love you guys. I'll see y'all later. Peace.